Welcome in, Buzz City, and Happy New Year. We're looking to get our very first win of 2019 tonight when we take on the Dallas Mavericks. It's also Pride Night presented by Bank of America. I'm Eryn Pittsonberger for Hornets.com. That's Matt Ruchinsky, and this is the HornetsFanshop.com pregame show. Matt, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Eryn. Hopefully you had a good New Year's and everything went well. Obviously, we came out with a win.
I did, absolutely. It was a great win. Let's talk about this game day special before we get into everything.
Game day special today. Clearance sale still going on HornetsFanshop.com. There's still some stuff left. It's going fast. All the good stuff is starting to move out quick. If you want to get stuff that's got a great discount on it, but also get it for your friends and family, make sure you hop on there now. And if you order over $29, you're going to get free shipping. So that's probably a play around the Hornets 30 thing is what we've kind of figured out. That's why the $29, but spend over $29, get free shipping, send it out.
I love it. Absolutely love it. And you touched on it just now. Way to come out and close 2018 with a win. A 125-100 victory over the Orlando Magic for the 13th straight win against the Magic. What do you have to make of that game?
I just love the fact that we came out the way we did, came out strong, came out and put ourselves on top of the Magic early on. You had to kind of send a statement. You know that this is a team that's hungry for a win against us. As you mentioned, 13 in a row. They want to end that streak. They've got our old coach over on their sideline and Steve Clifford, so you know he wants to end that streak. But we came out and we put the pressure on early on against them. They bounced back a little bit in the second quarter to make a game of it. But then things kind of changed in the second half.
Yeah, things kind of changed a little bit. You know, we were kind of ridden with injuries. You know, we're down, you know, with Jeremy Lamb, hamstring strain, and then Cody Zeller, who fractured his hand. So extremely unfortunate losses for us and from that starting lineup. But you did have a handful of guys that stepped in that second half. You had Devontae Graham, who stepped in for Jeremy Lamb and hit his second straight game with double-figure points. How great was his play?
I think the thing that's awesome about Devontae and what he did was, if you look at the box score, if you're a fan of this team and you say we won 125-100 in that game, and you open it up the next day and you say, hey, Devontae had 10 points, must have been in garbage time. No, it wasn't in garbage time. Coach has really leaned on Devontae as of late, has liked what he's seen from him in Greensboro, has loved what he's seen from him when he's stepped in and taken a role on this team here with the Hornets. And he came in that third quarter and he really carried this team. Devontae carried this team. A rookie carried this team. When you've got guys like Kemba, Tony out on the court with him, it was Devontae's play that really was the difference maker. Not only was he scoring the basketball with 10 points in the third quarter alone, he was scoring from everywhere. He hit big threes, he attack the rim, but I really liked his defense. I like the fact that Coach is putting a lot on him defensively to guard somebody like Evan Fournier, who can light it up for the Magic, and Devontae gave him fits and really kind of kept him in check. That's what I really like to see about Devontae.
His development is great, and this actually goes to show how long Matt and I have been working together. So last game, when Devontae was at the line hitting a free throw, I looked over at Matt and I was like, hey, Matt, do you think Devontae has potential to be the next Kemba Walker? And apparently he was thinking the exact same thing.
I was watching him, and his body, his makeup, everything about him, the way he carries himself. We love the way that Devontae carries himself out on the court. He doesn't carry himself like a rookie. I know that we're not saying he's going to be Kemba Walker. If he is, God willing, that would be awesome to have another one of those guys. But that's what Kemba reminded me of in his rookie season when we were going through the 7-win season. He carried himself with poise. He carried himself as if he wasn't just a rookie. He carried himself like a veteran. And that desire to win, you can see that Devontae has that too. So all those similarities, if we're building a little mini Kemba Walker, this might be the guy we want to build around, and hopefully we get there one day.
Exactly. Now let's talk about this player development for a second too, because you also mentioned Billy and how he's playing a lot lately, and tonight, you know, we could see him really stepping up. But as far as player development goes, these guys that are going back and forth to the Greensboro Swarm, you could definitely tell that that's tremendously improved, and that it tremendously improved their advancement and helped them kind of get into the rhythm.
Yeah, and really built their confidence more so than anything. There's something about being a player on an NBA team when you get drafted or you're a first or a second year guy who's not playing much, it starts to wear on you. You want to get on the court. You start getting itchy a little bit on the bench. You're like, can please, coach, please put me in, please put me in, please put me in. So when you're not getting that opportunity to use the G League as an opportunity to get these guys down there to get some real significant minutes and really impactful minutes. We've seen when Devontae goes down, he's had great games and is really leading that team down there. We've seen Dwayne Bacon do the same thing. So if we continue to do this with these guys, it's only going to help in our long-term development as our Charlotte Hornets team as a whole, because these guys are going to be ready to step in when called upon as they are right now.
Exactly. And, we could see Dwayne Bacon playing tonight, but he just played with the Greensboro Swarm last night, scored 26 points. And so that goes to show right now that these guys getting in that repetition, it really works out for them. Take a look at Dwayne's highlights from last night.
A double-figure streak, last 5 games scoring in double figures. He had 5 assists the other night.
A bit of a rush shot there from Lemon. Should have given Hall time at least to pop or roll to the rim as Bacon comes back the other way.
110-104. And 5 wins on the road this season. Steal by Anuaku, fast break, alley-oop. Excuse me while I kiss the sky. Bench.
I like what I saw from the Bulls on that last possession. Fair got that rebound, and then Alkins.
4-point lead, 49-45. Good use of the pivot at the left side of the paint. All smiles for Dwayne Bacon with that.
It's like this fast pace has hurt the Bulls here in the second quarter, because now it seems like they're a little too excited with some of their shots.
The expiration date on Happy New Year's off the timeout, and Bacon gliding into the paint. No 184 Bulls. Bacon in this fourth quarter trying to get some separation for the final time tonight. Bacon finishing 18 points for Kaiser.
Just amazed with the confidence he's been playing with the last month, as Dwayne Bacon with a nice Euro inside to finish strong there.
We're now joined by a good friend of ours, Matt Carroll, who is also the Director of Player Development and the Player Development Assistant. Matt, you're wearing many, many hats during this season. Tell us a little bit about your new roles.
Yes, Eryn, quite a few hats, but it's been a great year. I'm enjoying all of them. They're all different but similar in a lot of ways, and this year for me has been a lot of fun just being around the team. I think for me, the player development part, having a chance to work with all the players, in their off-court development, their personal development, but also having a great understanding of the game, and also there to help them assist, with their basketball game also. So that's number one. Number two, the player development assistant on the court. It's been a joy for me to be back on the hardwood with the coaches, with the players, kind of what I grew up doing and what I know best. And every day on the court with the guys and just assisting any way that I can, whether it's in drills, in practice, or in shoot-around, advice, whatever it could be. Really having a lot of fun with that, too.
Now, Matt and I had the pleasure of working with you when you were a player for the Charlotte Bobcats. How has that role, you've always kind of been the guy that people go to and the players go to for advice. How has that role kind of changed for you, being Matt Carroll the player to Matt Carroll the coach?
I think for me, it really translates pretty well. Basketball is basketball, and the one thing that I enjoyed about always playing basketball was the relationships. My teammates, my coaches, the people around the organization, and now to kind of really have a firsthand impact on the players, especially. That's one of the things that I love about my role. Have a chance to see these guys develop over time, and even through a season. It's a long season, 82 games, and all the practices and what the players are going through, but having a great understanding of what it's like to be a player and how can I help them different ways throughout the season.
How much has your time around these guys, even before you were in this role, really helped? I mean, you played with Kemba. You know a lot of these players from your time here, doing stuff with us, doing stuff on the radio. How much has that helped?
It definitely helps. I think someone like Kemba, having been his teammate before, just have a relationship built with him, an NBA All-Star, what he means to this team, this organization. It kind of helped me get off and running from the beginning. I think a sense of, just understanding and respect. Bismack Biyombo was a teammate of mine, and playing against players like Marvin, who had been around for many years, and Tony Parker was a teammate of mine in San Antonio. So I think it definitely helps, just because those guys, I think, initially have a relationship of trust, that I've been teammates of theirs, trusted them in the past. So I think it's really helped me kind of transition into this role and just help them as much as I can.
In our years together working, from you being a player to being an analyst to being on the Matt and Matt show, we've talked about your career. Like, what did you want to do? Do you feel like this really is the perfect niche for Matt Carroll?
Yeah, I think it fills a lot of my wants, you know, and working with you and Eryn and Jason, everybody in the past, I mean, I've loved that, and I still do that, but this is something that feels right at home, you know, being with the guys, kind of the interaction, the player standpoint is something that, like, I was missing when I finished playing. You know, your whole life, you're on a team, and you're working towards a certain goal, and then it just stops. But having a chance to work in broadcasting and get great experiences and doing things on the business side as an ambassador, and I think it's really just opened up my eyes, helped me grow professionally, but also can help really translate and kind of input that into the role that I'm doing now.
You mentioned being on the broadcast side. You're still alongside Chris Kroger in the
Yes,
radio broadcast as the color analyst. How do you balance what you have right now with the player development side and what you know from the player development side, and how do you balance that with what you give to the fans during the broadcast?
Yes, we have this thing called a tape delay, so when I say something I'm not supposed to say, that we just edit it out real quick. Sometimes you do, I'm sure.
Yes, we do.
No, I think for me it's just kind of getting, I've developed a feel for what to say on the air and what not to say, and working with Chris Kroger has been great. You know, I had a chance to work with Steve Martin, you know, a legend, and learned a lot from him, and Chris is a different style, it's a new energy, and first year being the Hornets voice, and I think he's loving what he's doing, not because it's just me working with him, but I think he's really good at it, and we've built a great chemistry already, and I'm just having a lot of fun with it. You know, I enjoy talking about the game, and, you know, for me, having some inside of the team, and obviously the NBA game, I think that's really helped, you know, with the broadcasting also to make it that much better. And it's been a lot of fun this year.
Now, you mentioned Steve Martin, working with Steve Martin. We had a chance to honor Steve, and he was on the broadcast a little while ago. When you talk about the differences between Steve and Kroger, can you pinpoint those differences at all?
Yes, well, one, Chris is about 40 years younger, so we'll start right there. So I guess maybe my sense of humor is more in line with Chris's than it was with Steve, but
okay,
I appreciated Steve's, you know. No, Steve was just full of wisdom, and Chris is just new energy, you know. And I think what's neat about Chris is he's kind of willing to, you know, take a few chances and throw in his own style. And they're different, you know, play-by-play guys, you know, Steve is more technical and detail, where Chris wants to have more conversation on the air, and it's a different style, but a style that I'm really enjoying, you know, because as an analyst on the radio, you don't have a lot of time to talk because you have to know what's going on. So Chris gives me a lot of chances to kind of throw in my insight on the game as an analyst, more similar to maybe how it would be on TV.
All right, let's check out your insight of the game as an analyst and a coach right now. We got the Dallas Mavericks in town.
Yes.
A team that Matt Carroll once played for, the Dallas Mavericks. A guy that once played there with you, still playing there in Dirk Nowitzki. Just kind of talk to us about Dirk and what you've seen from him at the tail end of his career.
Yeah, well, I take my hat off to Dirk. You know, I love being his teammate. Probably one of the guys I respected most in the league. You know, not just because he's a Hall of Fame player and he's phenomenal, but just how serious he took his craft, you know, his work ethic. I always admired just watching him work out, you know, so I'd get my workout in, then I'd just go watch Dirk because love the game, but just respecting what he does and how much time he took, the hard work he put in. You know, he played 40 minutes in a game, and then he'd come back, he's the first one in the gym, hours of shooting, taking care of his body, and just really showed me what it was like to really be a true professional, and that's the reason why he's one of the best to ever play the game. So I had a great experience there, but, you know, seeing him still playing is kind of, I think for a lot of people, eye-opening, like, why is Dirk still doing this? He doesn't have to, you know, 21st year. But it's a milestone. You know, no one has ever played 21 years for the same organization.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and Dirk has. So I think it's a testament to how they feel about him, what he's done, not just on the court, but off the court in Dallas and in the community, and just a great example for other NBA players with different teams and cities. So I just love that he's still playing. You know, for him, just to kind of, he loves the game. He has a family. There's a lot of things he could be doing other than this. But he just loves it, you know, so he's truly doing it because he loves the game and he loves being around the team and the players, the competition, and I just take my hat off to him for that.
Well, and we've got a guy here like Tony Parker, who has deferred from what his role has been in the past on teams in San Antonio and really kind of changed who he is. Dirk's kind of done the same thing. What does that say about his character, that he's willing to kind of step back a little bit? Yeah,
I mean, those two know each other pretty well. You think Dallas, San Antonio, the rivalry there, what they've done in the past, and Tony, very similar. This is his 18th year, and he did his 17 years in San Antonio. Now to take his wisdom, his knowledge, his experience, and bring it here, it's been great for our team. You know, our young guys to look up to him, to lean on him for advice, And he's not just there, he's still proving it on the court. So he's telling the young guys what to do, but he's also going out and producing in his 18th year. So I think that just says a lot about Tony Parker, that he still has a lot in the tank for him too.
And now speaking of these young guys, we're going to have a couple of them that need to step up tonight. We might be down 2 starters. So what's this team going to have to do to kind of fill those gaps?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. Sad to see Cody out of the lineup, and Jeremy Lamb's had an incredible season to this point. But Devontae Graham, he's really stepping up. He's spent some time in the G League, but when he's got his chance lately, he's delivered, and coach is high on him. He comes in, he's solid, knows how to run an offense, he can make shots, he's a 3-point shooter, so doing a lot of great things. I love that he has a chance now. And you see Billy Hernangomez. Billy now has a chance too, and Billy has played well throughout the whole season. We're pretty deep at the center position. So Bismack Biyombo, Frank Kaminsky, those guys will see their minutes go up, and they've been waiting their turn. And with Cody going out, it's tough, and same with Jeremy Lamb, but that's a lot of minutes to fill. There's a lot of shots that need to be taken to fill in for those guys. So the one thing you learn in the NBA, it's a long season, and there's ups, there's downs, there's going to be injuries, things will change. I think for players like Billy and for Devontae, they know that, like, listen, I wasn't playing 2 weeks ago, and now I'm in the lineup here and I'm starting. So things change quick, and that's why you really got to always take care of yourself and stay ready.
Billy putting up double-doubles consistently now. Devontae Graham, back-to-back games with double figures. Now, we were talking about it earlier. He's played, 4 games in the last 3 days with the G League. And now, just from a distance, that's overwhelming as it is. How is he handling that off the court?
Yeah, I think he's handling it just how you would want, very well. And my advice, with Devontae and Dwayne Bacon, who was, bounced up and down from Greensboro, was my first 2 years I played and bounced up and down with at the time was the D League, and it really helps you. You think about 4 games in 4 days, it's crazy. But you know what? Like, they love it. They're young. They have lots of energy. And, going to a G League Swarm game, playing a lot of minutes, getting your confidence up, playing well, prepares you that when you get into an NBA game, if you're just sitting on the bench and you never get into the game, it's harder, right? Or if you played a game before and Devontae and Dwayne have, 20 to 30 points, they're feeling pretty good the next day. It's only been 24 hours. So I think the value of that team and what it does for the young guys to be prepared when they get their chance with the Hornets is great.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to tonight, looking forward to getting that win. Matt, thank you for joining us.
Always, Eryn. Thanks, Matt.
All right, we'll be back after this.
Hey, listen, I think Kroger's was a great hire, and I encourage him to get as much work in as possible, but sometimes I think he takes this thing a little too seriously.
We are really locked into a tense game of battleship right now between Jelly and Rashad.
E4. Nah.
It's a tough miss for Jelly. Might come back to haunt him later in this game. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
What about B2?
Yeah, it sunk my aircraft carrier.
That's a big landing from Rashad. That's the biggest ship in Jelly's entire fleet.
F5. Got me.
He did it. He actually did it. He sunk his battleship. Jelly, that's a walk-off winner. You just sunk his battleship.
Now, as we were talking with Matt, we were talking about the injuries and facing the Dallas Mavericks tonight. Who's going to have to step up with Cody Zeller and Jeremy Lamb both out of the lineup?
I think the first thing you're going to see is Billy Hernangomez really step into that starting lineup. I'm anticipating that he's going to be the guy who gets the start. He's going to really kind of take on a bigger role for this team. We saw it earlier in the season. He was getting more run, really making an impact. Then he kind of got relegated to less minutes as Frank kind of popped up and started playing better. But Billy is back in the rotation, has been playing really well, has been playing good on both ends of the court, is what Coach Borrego really wants to see from him. We know what Billy can bring offensively. He's a great player on the offensive side, but we need to see him play better defensively. He's done that as of late, grabbing rebounds in traffic, which is really what we need to do because that's going to be the hardest thing to do. Cody is kind of that high-energy guy who brings that aggressiveness on the boards. We need to see that. So you could also see Bismack Biyombo getting more playing time, depending on what matchups are. We've got DeAndre Jordan in town tonight. Biz is probably going to get some time against DeAndre. He's going to have to battle him inside. That's a guy who likes to bang. Biz has no problem banging with the best of them. So, and then Frank Kaminsky, we mentioned it. He's another guy who can step up, hit big shots from the offensive standpoint, and is playing better defensively. Started to really play better defensively about a month ago, and is really starting to find a fit.
Now, I know yesterday in the coaches show, JB mentioned to you guys that, when Cody's out of the lineup, the winning record kind of, you don't really see too much of that, and the team tends to suffer. However, like you just mentioned, this probably isn't the same team because we have that much depth at center.
Yeah, there's more depth and there's more effort being put forth from these guys. We didn't have Biz last year. Billy was here, Frank was here, but they both were not giving much on the defensive end and never really got much better on the defensive side of the basketball, let's be honest. They've both really put in a commitment to getting bigger, adding more mass over the offseason, getting stronger, and this is the time it's going to start paying off because they're going to have to start playing a more physical brand of basketball the same way Cody does when he's in there and really gets people riled up.
So the silver lining for the bigs that we have that depth there, but then there's Jeremy Lamb who's out. Are we still looking to Devontae Graham to fill those minutes?
I think you're gonna. I think, I think Coach mentioned it in the coaches show. He really loves the way Devontae's been playing. And he also mentioned that he didn't really want to mess with the second unit too much. The second unit is looking pretty well, having Tony Parker leading the way with those guys. Malik Monk coming off the bench in the second unit is coming off one of his best games as a Charlotte Hornet with 21 points the other night. I don't think Coach really wants to mess with that too much. It's his team. He can do whatever he wants. He can change it up as much as he wants, and he might do that. But right now, the feeling that I'm getting from listening to guys talk, listening to Coach talk, is that you're going to see Devontae in that starting lineup, which is absolutely amazing. And how pumped is that guy got to be right now?
Oh, that's got to be incredible. Incredible.
We know we like him. I mean, Eryn and I love this guy.
Love him. I was trying to get him last game for the walk-off interview, and I was the biggest Devontae Graham cheerleader the last 3 or 4 minutes because he was one bucket away from getting a new career high. So, if he keeps playing these minutes and really meaningful minutes, you could see that career high just climbing each and every game.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be sitting here going, oh, we got to get to 11 or 12 at this point in time if Devontae continues to play this way. I think he's got the capability to have some big games. The thing that Coach really likes about him is he makes all the right decisions in the right spots for a guy who's a rookie. He doesn't play like a rookie. We know he's a 4-year vet from college, and that also helps out, but he also takes good shots. So I think we're going to see a dozen, 15, maybe upwards of 20 points from Devontae sometime soon, and we don't have to worry about chasing that career high.
There you go. Okay, Matt, so tonight we're taking on the Dallas Mavericks for the first time this season, and we're facing a front runner for the NBA's Rookie of the Year in Luka Doncic.
Yes.
How do we stop this guy?
This guy has been amazing so far. I think he's come on and been better than anyone anticipated. Everybody knew he was going to be good. There was a lot of hype around him coming into the NBA draft last year, but he's really stepped up. And you can tell, much like we talked about Devontae playing 4 years in college, Luka has played overseas since he was like 16 years old against grown men. That's showing right now. He's not just a rookie in this league. He's definitely has that veteran presence. And at 6'7" as a point guard, this is a big guy who can get things done in a lot of ways. He scores the basketball. He rebounds the basketball. 6.5 rebounds per game for Luka is huge, and he dishes the ball out. He really is the heart and soul of that Mavericks team right now. Gonna need a guy like Nick Batum to really step up maybe on that wing and take over having to guard him to give that length and really disrupt what he's doing.
Euro versus Euro.
Yes.
And Luka being a former EuroLeague MVP, should he still qualify as a Rookie of the Year for NBA? I say no.
I mean,
it's
tough to say that this kid's a rookie, but by rules, I guess he's still a rookie in the NBA, so we'll have to give it to him.
I guess we'll take it. But another thing that we can kind of really take advantage of is this team, much like us, but this team does not do well on the road right now. They're 2-16 on the road. How do we capitalize on that?
You've got to capitalize the same way we've been doing it as of recently on these homestands when we jump out big on these teams. You don't want to give Dallas any hopes that this might be my third road win. You don't want them to be in the game early on. We really need our bench in the first 6 minutes of the first quarter, I think you're going to try and establish that, but we really need our bench to step up again and close that first quarter strong to give us hopefully upwards of a double-digit lead heading into the second is what I'd like to see, just so we could kind of take advantage of this one early on and put them away.
There we go. Well, we're looking forward to seeing that. And we will be back with BETSY MACK, our director of CSR. But first, let's get a sneak peek at this week's 30th anniversary feature with Del Curry and the buzzer beater against Golden State.
Well, the play was drawn up for Rex. I mean, nothing could go wrong for the play to be able to be run correctly. And Muggsy, being the coach on the floor that he is, knew that, you know, either something was going to go wrong, he didn't have the right guy in the spot, or maybe we didn't have enough time. I don't know what his thinking was, but as we broke the huddle, he comes up to me and says, that play's not going to work. I'm going to decoy, I'm going to drive, your man's going to help, I'm going to kick it to you, and we're going to win the game. And that's exactly what happened.
4 seconds left. He'll take it in. Fires to Curry. Shot at the buzzer. Goal!
I didn't say a word when he said that the play's not going to work. This is what I'm going to do. I just nodded my head. Okay, all right, you got the ball. I'm going to do what you say.
The final score, Charlotte 99, Golden State 98.
Joining us now is BETSY MACK, our Director of Corporate Social Responsibility and the Charlotte Hornets Foundation. She's here to talk about tonight's Pride Night. BETSY, this is the Hornets' first ever Pride Night. Why did the organization decide to go through with this tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. So as Charlotte's continuing to grow and expand as a city, you know, getting all-star, being on the global scale, really looking at welcoming in all different groups in the community. We have a great LGBTQ community here in Charlotte, so we really wanted to, you know, take a leaf out of the NBA's book and highlight the community here as well.
And you mentioned that we're taking a leaf from the NBA's book. What are some other initiatives that the NBA is doing as a league for this?
So LGBTQ was one of the big nights that they asked us to focus on. Also, Black History Month, another big initiative that we make sure to focus on. And then recognizing the Latino community as well.
When we're talking about Pride Night, though, Commissioner Adam Silver has always been the champion, probably at the head of the NBA. What does that mean to have his support behind this and driving these initiatives?
You know, it's really been positive and received very well throughout, you know, all the different teams, and then having his face on the Pride Night just really showcases that from leadership down, this is an important initiative to focus on celebration of equality, inclusion, and just bringing in this other group to the NBA sport.
Not only are the Hornets celebrating Pride Night, Bank of America has jumped on as a sponsor.
Yes.
Why did they make the decision that they wanted to jump on, and how good is it to have Bank of America supporting this as well?
It's great. You know, Bank of America is a true leader in the Charlotte community, and they have a huge LGBTQ community group as well. So having them as our title sponsor has been great for the night. They're excited. They have a lot of individuals coming to the game. They have a huge group coming, so we're excited to celebrate this night with them.
And we also saw that during this night, we're going to be recognizing Charlotte Pride and the Charlotte Pride Scholarship Fund. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Charlotte Pride Scholarship Fund started in 2017 as a way for individuals that are in high school in the LGBTQ community or an ally of the community to receive funds to go to college. They were seeing that a lot of them were starting to report homelessness. So really looking at how we can send these individuals to college. So we're excited to promote that within the game and, you know, hopefully send someone to college as well.
Oh, it's great. Charlotte Pride's doing this. And you're also working with a couple other organizations as well for tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. We're working with Equality North Carolina, Athlete Ally, and Time Out Youth.
And it's always good, too, you're also giving fans the chance to be a part of this, because the guys are going to have these shooting shirts on that have the Buzz City, almost what you're wearing right
almost
now.
Identical.
Almost identical to what, we didn't plan that at all.
No.
So, but they're going to take these and they're going to sign these and we're going to raffle these off to help support some of these groups, correct?
Yes, exactly. So these shooting shirts will be signed after they're worn and washed. And then I know. And then the proceeds will go to the scholarship fund. So you can visit the main concourse to sign up for a raffle ticket, or you can text Hornets Pride, one word, to 41444. Raffle tickets, one for $5 or 5 for $20. So great deal. You have 15 chances to win because you have the 14 shirts that are going to be player worn. And then we also have a live artist that's going to be painting the skyline of Charlotte in rainbow. And then the players are going to sign that as well. So 15 options to win, which, you can't beat those odds.
A lot of great things going on here. John.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
This has been
Thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah, well, we really appreciate it. One more thing before we go. What do you really hope, since this is the first Pride Night for the organization, what do you hope fans take away from tonight?
Yeah, just the celebration of individuals and self-authenticity, and that our LGBT community really feels celebrated, welcomed, and a part of the fan base.
We love it. Betsy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Guys, make sure to get to the game tonight. There's still time, still tickets. 7 o'clock tip. If you can't be at the arena, make sure to tune in on Fox Sports Southeast or listen on WFNZ. For Betsy and for Matt, I'm Eryn Pittsonberger for Hornets.com.